Hello, beautiful bastards. The name is Wolf, and welcome back to some more Last Epoch. I'm going to show you a brand new build that I've started working on today. I'm very excited about it. So we have a little bit of gameplay here. We also have some dummy testing here to see how much the damage can really get with some very basic leveling gear still. The numbers are looking very, very promising. But more about that in just a minute. And then also we will go through the planner. I have a bit of a grocery list basically that we're going to deal with and maybe kind of adjust as we mature the character, and also perhaps on advice of the people, because there's a couple of things I am not certain about. Like, for example, as you can see, we're using a dual wield setup right now, but honestly we have so much excess damage already that it might be better to go with a shield, for example. And also I'm using Fury Leap, but what if I drop Fury Leap and get a 6th crow as opposed to 5 crows? And perhaps I can use even the crow traversal skill, which is a wonderful thing. There's a lot of options here, but yes, here's my character, level 70. We're going to do a little bit of basic setup. We're going to start off with some Tempest striking soon. As you can see, we are using leveling gear. I recently actually switched away, mind you, from the prism wraps, the elemental level 5 chests. I forgot about that. We're using the woven flesh for the crit avoidance until I get the blessing. But yeah, the apogee right here is a very nice pickup I had on the stream as well. Luckily hit the 1 in 4 melee attack speed, so we have an excess amount of sonic. But yes, this is Tempest Strike. Very basic setup for Tempest Strike, and as you can see, it does already do a decent amount of damage. And we can buff ourselves and our minions to do more crit and more cold damage. We're still leveling that, and then we can also jump for more spell and melee damage to stack that up as well. And we're already seeing some wonderful numbers. Look at that, 300,000. It is insane how this already adds up. And this is without the armor shred and without even getting enough strength to hit that 50 threshold we have to hit. This is some very early stuff, and this is already the insane level of numbers we're getting. Now, once the birds actually start fighting, the birds themselves already do massive amounts of damage. That's skills as well. Then, of course, the Stormcrow kicks in. The buffs are being applied by the Tempest Strike. And everything just comes together into this incredible cacophony of just absolute destruction, while being surprisingly tanky because of strength stacking, as well as, of course, the sustain the Beastmaster gets that allows you to sustain yourself, but also your minions, which is very, very good. So yes, let's talk a little bit about the planner and what we're going through, because this is the leveling gear that I had and the kind of starter gear, but I want to show you what I am planning with the build moving forward. So let me talk you through the plan of my build, of my strength stacking, Stormcrowing, Tempest Striking, Beastmaster. I know the planner looks very intimidating. I assure you it is not. It's more of a grocery list. But yes, there are 2 mandatory uniques if you want to follow along with the build, because even in terrible gear, it's surprisingly sustainable and incredible high damage. But yes, the mandatory uniques are as follows. The Arthur's Legacy, which is a very common unique, so it should not be too difficult to pick up. If we can pick it up with LP, that would be great, because then we can push strength, hopefully. That's the ideal. And maybe some other great notes worth taking, but otherwise strength is the primary one we seek. We are also needing a cleaver solution with melee attack speed preferably to begin with. As you know, I have that from my shamans, so that's just already something I possess. And that is it. Those are the only 2 mandatory uniques. I am not sure about the neck piece. This was recommended to me, but I feel like I can get more value out of a good crafted bone amulet, especially since I'm still struggling with some of my resistances. Although I've also been told that I don't need to necessarily cap all of them. So we'll see how that feels. But yes, the Frozen Eyes of Formosus, maybe with like a good health, would definitely be worth taking. But without the health, I am not so sure if I'm comfortable picking this one up compared to, let's say, an Exalted Bone one. But yes, it does have some minion damage. It does have some good chill, some minion freeze rate per stack of chill. Some really good synergy with our build. But is it good enough? Who knows? What is incredible, however, if you want to dual wield, the Apogee of Frozen Light is absolutely insane for this build. I actually do have an attack speed version of Live on the live servers right now. You can check my VOD on Twitch. It is incredible. There's so much damage behind here, but honestly, we already have so much damage to begin with. I might also contemplate taking a good shield. I actually leveled with a shield. I was super tanky, never died. Everything died so fast I couldn't even get my crow storms off half the time. But yeah, if you want to pick up a shield, it might also make leveling significantly more, at least not leveling, but gearing a lot more enticing. Not only do you have options for maybe some Weaver potential shields or just some good unique shields like maybe Bastion of Honor if you want to get more health, but what you could also do is actually make your own shield with the Carapace base, which gives you 75 poison rest just from the get-go, which is insane. Which of course makes it so you don't actually have to gear poison rest on other pieces. And since we already have such an insane level of damage, it might be the way to go, pushing for corruption 2 to 300, if not beyond. But we'll see how that turns out. It's a matter of, do you want to go dual wield for more damage, or do you want to be more tanky and still do like a million crits, right? Like, it's insane. Great Wood Coat is probably the best for damage because it also gives us minion spell damage. But since we are stacking strength, and stacking strength is really good for armor scaling, it might also be worth considering Maruna the Carapace for the insane level of armor and some stun avoidance, or Ancestral Garb for more health, but also increased cooldown recovery speed, because we do need some cooldown recovery on our gear. As long as we can get a faster swipe, because we're playing cooldown swipe to trigger our Stormcrow, it's going to be really, really good. Also, faster Fury Leaps and War Cries are always appreciated. Speaking of things that are appreciated, we are running double Opal Rings. Very much verbatim the same strength, minion health, Fizz Res, Poison Res on both sides. Opal Rings because all attributes, and we are stacking strength, but also cooldown recovery. Very, very good Bastion slot base. No doubts about it. We're running the Predatorian Belt with minion damage, minion health, hybrid health, and percentage health. Just a nice health stat stick. Eternal Gauntlets, wonderful base, of course. More armor, more strength. I'm thinking about adding minion damage here, or melee attack speed, or minion health. I'm not sure what I want as a second prefix. But yeah, on the suffix, we pick up hybrid health and necrotic resistance, because we still have to find more of that to cap it out. Citadel boots are incredible for an armor base. We are picking up some more movement speed and strength, obviously. We also pick up the big cooldown recovery, but you can also get it on the belt if that's more comfortable for you. I opted for the boots, preferably, and then some hybrid health for the obvious reasons. I'm not sure about this relic. This was also recommended to me because of the high level of strength, and we are stacking strength. And, of course, the elemental spell skills, which do, for some skills, seem to work. However, the thing that interested me the most, aside from the implicit being massive on the health, obviously, is also the current health converted to ward when you directly cast an elemental spell. Now, some of our tools are spells, and they do have an elemental tag. I, however, have not been able to test if it works, because if it does, it might be worth picking up, because due to the cleaver, we also have a bunch of intelligence, which gives us massive ward retention, so that could add a little bit of a layer of defense, and it's certainly delightful if we can actually go full ward in the super, super late game because of the massive levels of intelligence. But yeah, I'm working on the live version right now. Speaking of live version, we pick up life wherever we can with some crit avoidance. This with the blessing will cap us. We pick up some more health, some more health, some more health. A little bit of health, elemental res. A little bit of health, elemental res. More health. I'm thinking about turning some of these idols into some resistance idols to help facilitate this. But I've also been told by the chat that it is not necessarily mandatory to cap everything if you have an excess of life and damage reduction, which we kind of have. Or, you know, if you have a shield, which is still something I'm contemplating. I feel a lot more comfortable in terms of staying alive with a shield, though. Blessings, however, void res, crit avoidance, armor, shred for the cold, obviously, and a little bit of lightning res. Very mandatory to cap that out. In terms of the passives, we are picking up the basic health, all the strength nodes we can. The dual wield, if you do want to dual wield, otherwise you can take this off and wear a shield, which gives you a passive skill point back, which is nice. Some Hunter's Restoration, a singular point here in Hunter's Emanation to help some healing, and then a Berserker point. That's pretty much it. You could unspec Hunter's Emanation if you want to be very specific about it. Otherwise, I just like the little bit of healing I can do without needing to leech. Especially during leveling, this is nice. On the Druid tree, we are picking up some more armor, as well as armor for minions. We're also picking up more stats, because we are stat stacking. A singular travel point of Blessed Spring, so we can pick up 5 points of River Spirits, because we are frost-based, and getting a little bit more cold damage, as well as some freeze shenanigans. Very, very valuable here. And then also we pick up Wind in the Leaves, because that's just an incredible steroid for both us, on the attack and cast speed, but also on our minions. Very, very good. Beastmaster is, of course, the big one. We pick up the typical Beastmaster tax, including Ursine's Strength. We're also picking up 4 points of the Chase for traveling. We're maxing out the Boar Heart because Strength. We are picking up a single point on Life of the Wilderness, just as a travel point, but also so that we have companions with endurance. We are picking up 5 points of Viper Fangs. You could decide to spend more points into here if you want more melee attack speed. With my gear at the moment on life, I do not need this. I'm basically Sonic already. Cry of the Lynx, I want to pick up at least 4 points if I can help it. I find 4 seconds to be quite nice. We are picking up the mandatory Nature's Embrace for the +1 companion. We are picking up Serrated Claws for crit multi. And of course, even more crit multi, because it double stacks. We are picking up 10 points in Ancient Might for strength. We are also picking up 4 points of critical bite, because I wanted to go above 12. But honestly, I might actually push this down to maybe 3 or 2 points. Maybe even 1 point, depending on how it ends up feeling in the late game once we have insane levels of damage. More so than we have right now. Other than that, though, I have opted for some additional points in the primal aspects, just to make the buffs that we have on the Shark, the Panther, the Lynx, the Viper, just to let them last a little longer as we jump from pack to pack. So that is what it is for the passive points. And then the skills, this is where some of the magic really starts to happen. Tempest Strike is a attack speed steroid with neutral mana. We're reducing it as much as we can. We're still using Warm Shelter, or not using Warm Shelter, so we still cast our Cold Tempest, which allows us to not only benefit from the Gladiator Lagon, but get more stacks for Gladiator Lagon through Lagonian Shamanism. And then also we pick up Scheme of the Architect. This is where we need the 50 intelligence for as well, which is very, very nice. You could actually dual wield the Apogees if you wanted to, and just get no strength on your gear, but stack 50 intelligence. And that would also work, but you would have a lot less armor. And I think we all agree that unless you play a druid, there is some squish involved if you don't fix it. And we are fixing it with strength stacking. So just something to consider. We pick up some ancestral swiftness, as well as some soaring blows right here. Very simple to understand. The stars of the show are the summon Stormcrows. We have 3 points left, which is the Apogee. If I switch to a shield, I don't have to worry about it. But yes, we're picking up the mandatory 2 points of Shredding Beaks, 4 points of Huntsman, the Feathered Storm, which scales with Strength for more Shred and Shred effect, which is really, really nice. And then we pick up at least 4 points of Murder of Crows. We also convert our crows to cold by going through Shocking Display into Frigid Wings. And then I've been trying to figure out what the ideal points are for Observe and Learn, which is what we do want to pick up, because it increases the base crit times 3. Now, I'm not sure what the ideal version is, because it's very difficult to calculate what the actual crit chance is unless you follow the entire formula. So I'm kind of experimenting with this. I might add some points into here, maybe 3 or 4. Or alternatively, if I want to feel particularly frisky, I could also go for a wolf spec to get another companion, to get 6 companions, and then get a traversal skill by going into Sky Passage, which is quite lovely. But I want to kind of feel that out with cast speed because, well, it's a spell, so we have to cast it, and we're not scaling cast speed. So I'm waiting until I have some more cast speed on my gear through the unique items, and maybe through some of the passive tree, so that we can see if it feels good. Because if it does, I might drop Fury Leap. But more about that in just a second. Swipe, however, might seem a little weird to some people. But we want to pick up Claws of the Bear, which gives it a cooldown, which is also why we need cooldown reduction. But we can actually spam Stormcrow through Primal Resonance, which is very, very nice. With some cooldown reduction, you get this close to 1 second, maybe even below 1 second, which means you can summon the Crow Storm, what normally has a significant cooldown, But now you can just spam it through swipe, which is very, very good. A lot more extra damage that way. We're also picking up some culling. We're picking up some more area just so we can hit the swipe, because we do have to make sure that we have to hit. On top of that, we pick up more AoE just for that sole purpose of hitting. We're also picking up some aspect of the Panther, at least 3 points. Some Feline Hunter for global attack speed and cast speed. We're picking up Lion Strength, at least 2 points. So both of them, and then 3 points for some further scaling up that aspect of the Panther for health regen and duration. So it smooths out the build entirely. I guess you could drop Stormclaw if you want to go for another stack, but that's entirely up to you. In terms of Fury Leap, I've opted for a little bit of a different take than some people do. I still pick up the Immune. I still pick up the Battle Bloom for the Cleanse and the 5 out of 5 Warrior's Entrance for massive damage buffs, which is very, very good because it also stacks, which brings me to my next point. Some people actually go to the top right here or go and pick up Gravity. I have decided, however, to go with Regain Stamina, because when we kill enemies with another skill, which happens fairly frequently, we have a 20% chance to reset it once every 5 seconds, which allows me to move through the monoliths faster and also allows me to stack perhaps more Warrior's Entrance for more burst. I feel like it might be good. But yes, I could also unspec it and go for the Wolf, which is an interesting take, because then you can actually get a +1 companion by the note on the left. And then you can use the traversal skill here if you want one with Sky Passage, if you want to maybe get some cast speed on your gear to make that smooth, which is very, very fun as well. So I'm contemplating that to maybe get a 6th Crow in by dropping Fury Leap. But I'm not sure. What do you guys think about that? What is, however, mandatory and what I will never drop is the following 22 points in Warcry, or at least 21 points in Warcry. I'm still not sure if Veracity works. I still feel like it's bugged half the time, but who knows. We are picking up the Cleanse down the bottom. We are picking up the mandatory Shallow Breath. We are picking up the 4 out of 4 Battle Cry. And then we're picking up the 5 out of 5 Frost Claw, as well as the Bringer of Winter with increased crit chance down there. That should ultimately, hopefully, cap our birds out with 2 or 3 points, depending on how it ends up in the math. I have to do the math there still. But yes, all of that will cap our birds out and make them absolutely pop off. We can maybe get some quality of life here with Veracity if it works. But that's kind of how the build works together. You jump in, you Warcry, you swipe, and you just bombard the actual Stormcrow onto the enemy, and they instantly die. And in between swipes, you want to just hold down your Tempest Strike, because you attack so many times a second. All these buffs right here, Huntsman, as well as the crit round here, Observe and Learn, will pretty much be up all the time with that in your arsenal. So that's kind of the plan. That's what I'm cooking with. Let me know what you guys think. Check in on this stream if you want to see me level the build further. I started leveling today, and we're already making some headway in the monoliths. We're level 70 right now, so it's been a good time. I'm looking forward to the insane potential of this build. It's going to be awesome. Thank you so much for watching. See you guys next time. I'm out.